watched Social Dilemma this past weekend. I don't know if anyone has seen this. I'm sure some of you, yeah, I see some head shaking. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's difficult to watch, but it's also, I think, extremely informative. It's all about the impact of the way we are currently living our digital lives is impacting our well-being as a world, really. How social media in all of its forms, not just Facebook, but all of the ways that we are now interacting, and I don't mean like a Zoom yoga class, but maybe that too, about how our interactions have really shifted and changed, and how the information we're receiving and our attention is being sought after, and what is shifting within us, when we're all old enough to remember a childhood without computers, let alone phones, right? And I think this is a really important thing. And of course, my daughter, after watching it with me, she was so distraught. And the next morning, she was afraid to pick up her phone. Kind of felt like supercomputers are spying on her, and felt naked to it, and I think that's a really good thing that she's aware, and we all get aware of really how we are being manipulated by these things, and to make choices about how to proceed. And one of the things, I was trying to think deeper around how do we maintain our deep truth, our deep inner truth in the face of the way we have to live our lives currently. And of course, I've came back to the Yoga Sutra and the ways in which truth can be found within when we have a sense of discipline to cultivate it. And I wanted to read you something from Lao Tzu, which is not from the Yoga Sutra, but from the more Taoist philosophy. But I'll read it in a moment, but it ties into what I've been thinking about in relation to social dilemmas. So the kleshas in yoga are these causes of our suffering, and they, I think, are clues into how we are easily distracted and easily pulled into certain things that maybe step us away from the truth of who we are and our connection with each other. So the kleshas are, very simply, the first is these are the things that cause us suffering. We attach and grab onto what we want. We push away and deny, put our head in the sand, or refuse what we don't want. We have a deep sense of attachment to our ego. And we, through that attachment to our ego and other things, we feel very disconnected to our unity with each other, as well as unity with all things. And lastly, our fear of death. So these 5 things, grabbing what we want, averting what we don't want, attachment to the big S, self, a sense of disconnection to each other and to the planet and to the universe, and our deep fear of demise, are the 5 kleshas that are laid out in the Yoga Sutra. And I could talk about that for a long time, but how I think it relates to what we're coming into right now is that we are vulnerable in these ways, right? And we can see the lens of the world through these ways. And these things cloud truth within us, and they make us susceptible to all sorts of influences that maybe don't guide us on the true north. So as far as the ego goes, this is from Lao Tzu. This is, before I read it, one of the things that I stepped away from Social Dilemma was feeling, what are the solutions? What are we going to do to try to stay connected, like deep connection? Like, here's the earth and a plant and a person and a real things right next to me. And how do we stay connected to that? And remember that we are all one. One of the things in the movie the documentary was about how our social divides have come from the news feeds we are each receiving, and how we have become so polarized because of what we are being fed. And depending on your spectrum, you get fed different things. And that has really created a lot of divide. So how do we reach across the divide? And I've talked about this a bunch recently in yoga classes, but this is just one aspect of detaching from your ego, detaching from your sense of this is how it should be. So this is from Lao Tzu. The ego says, oops, it's on my phone, so bear with me. The ego says that the world is vast and that the particles which form it are tiny. When tiny particles join, it says, the vast world appears. When the vast world dispenses, it says, tiny particles reappear. The ego is entranced by all these names and ideas, but the subtle truth is that the world and particle are the same. Neither one vast, neither one tiny. Everything is equal to every other thing. Names and concepts only block your perception of this great oneness. I'm going to repeat that line. Names and concepts only block your perception of this great oneness. Therefore, it is wise to ignore them. Those who live inside their egos are continually bewildered. They struggle frantically to know whether things are large or small, whether or not there is a purpose to joining or dispersing, whether the universe is blind and mechanical or the divine creation of a conscious being. In reality, there are no grounds for having beliefs or making comments about such things. Look beyond them instead, and you will discern the deep, silent, complete truth of the Tao. Embrace it, and your bewilderment vanishes. And to me, this speaks to just going past the ego, going past that sense of trying to compartmentalize and really reach into the vastness of we are all one. So I hope it's a little bit of food for thought for you this morning. So let's go ahead and close your eyes and take a moment to contemplate the kleshas a bit within you. You know, what do you grab onto? What are you attached to? Could be big things like, well, I'm not going to give examples. Small or big, what are you attached to? What are you adverse to? And can you notice how our graspings and our aversions bind us, separate us? Let's take a deep breath and see if you can release, practice the discipline, the art of releasing attachment, releasing aversion. And come into your self-identity. What forms your self-identity? Is it, are you subtly swayed by the commercials that you get in your Instagram feed? Do you identify with, I am this kind of person, I wear these kinds of clothes, I believe these kinds of political views, I eat these kinds of foods, I do this kinds of exercise, I live in this kind of town, I read these kinds of books, I watch these kinds of movies? What is your identity? And what would happen if that didn't exist? What would happen if you dissolved into something much bigger than your small self? What would happen if you lost the clinging to your beliefs even? Can you open yourself up to bigger vastness than your small mind can even comprehend? Can you, through this expansion into the vastness or tininess, whichever way you want to go, can you feel connection? So if we drop our labels, if we drop our attachments, if we drop our aversions, is there more room to feel connected? Is there something you see or feel inside of you that reaches for connection? What is that part of you? Where do you feel it in your body when you reach out for connection? When you reach out to touch the truth of the oneness of all things? What kind of sensation does that give you in your body, your mind, and your spirit? And the last of the kleshas, this fear of death. Of course, these things are things we're going to work with our whole lives, these kleshas. They're just not going to dissolve just because you think of them. But can you die a small, little, tiny death all the time? And this is part of that letting go, part of that non-clinging, not avoiding, feeling broad and connected. When we struggle with these things, it points to why we are afraid to die. So if we work on the first four of the kleshas, perhaps when we get to the moment of our death, there will be a sense of peace. So whatever is speaking to you, let's bring our hands together and offer an intention. How does being grounded in your body, mind, breath, through your asana practice, support your well-being, your ability to work with the kleshas and have discipline around trying to become more free? And let's release the hands and go ahead and come onto our back. All right, so let's celebrate and enjoy your body. Okay, so this is our little vehicle we live in, so let's enjoy it. Stretch open through your limbs. See if you can feel the left side of your body lengthen and the right side of your body lengthen, and just enjoy the sensations. Being in the body is such a healing balm, a grounding force. So if you are feeling untethered by the state of affairs in the world in any way, and you're looking deeply for your own ways to contemplate and be resilient, let being in your body be one of them. All right, let's bring our knees into our chest and rock a little bit. Okay. Let's sway from side to side. Allow your head to go with your body too. Just really sway. Imagine yourself just being in a hammock or on a porch swing or in water that's bobbing around. Just allow yourself to give up a bit your control. And let's circle the knees. So come into more stillness in the spine, and let's circle the knees one direction. And then let's circle the knees another direction. All right, and then let's circle the knees apart from each other and back in. All right, and then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. And let's circle your ankles a little bit. Get to know what your feet are feeling like today, your shins, your calves. Feel a good squeeze in the hip and the knee. Extend the spine and come into your breathing. And then let's change sides. Left knee into your chest, right leg long on the floor, and let's wiggle again. Feel a good squeeze in your knee, and then let's go ahead and release that. Spread your limbs, arms and legs wide out. Exhale, knees and head in. Find your way, expand, open yourself up. Exhale, draw it in. One more time. Expand, open. Exhale. Put your feet on the ground. Feet are a little wider than your hips or in line with your hips, whatever feels good. And let's just windshield wiper your knees left and right. Come into your breath. As you're doing this, let yourself become grounded in your body. Already start to feel that you're yielding, that the parts of your body that are unmoving, maybe your arms, the back of your head, your shoulders, are just resting, melting into the floor. All right, one more time, stretch out your limbs. Exhale and join your limbs inward. Come rolling over onto your side, and then come up onto your hands and your knees. Feel the ground underneath your hands. What does it feel like? What does your mat feel like? Can you feel the texture? Let's start moving through some cat-cows, tipping up the tail and the head, and dropping the tail and the head, moving with breath. Feel the full ripple through your spine. Maybe you want to move one vertebrae at a time and feel that wave compressing and opening. Maybe you want to move in more one big full swoop of kind of movement. So whatever's working for you, let's go ahead and find it. Open yourself up. Feel free to move the pose around any way you want to move. So if we're having a goal of being in our bodies in this moment, grounding ourselves in that kind of truth, the truth of being here and now, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to move around? What are you sensing? And then drop back into child's pose. Rest your forehead toward the floor. Maybe your knees compress well, maybe they don't. So just see where you're at. If you need to be forward more, that's fine too. Relax your head, melt through your skull. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's walk the hands over to the left side of your mat. Open up the right rib cage, relax your head. Drop weight into the hips, open up the side body all the way to the pelvis. Can you feel not just the armpit and the upper ribs, but the bottom ribs, the space between your ribs and your hip? And then come back to center and inch over to the other side. Drop some weight in the pelvis. Relax your forehead into the floor. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Open up that side body, expand as best as you can, melt as best as you can. And then come back up onto all fours, and let's find our way. Reach that right arm up to the sky, exhale and find a twist. So notice what is this sensation in your body? Having a twist. Invite in whatever you're feeling, breathe. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way back up, place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Lift the arm, slide that shoulder down, gaze toward the floor. You can go deeper, you can go less deep. What's giving your spine the room it needs? How is your breath? Can you let your breath meet the pose? So you might have some restriction as you're twisting, and see if your breath can fill in all the way to the edges of that restriction. All right, and then inhale and reach that arm all the way up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Curl the toes under and find your way to dog pose. All right, so let's have some pedaling of your feet. Feel free to sway, to bounce, to move, anything that's going to kind of wake you up and give you a sense of, I am here right now. I'm yielding into the earth. Give yourself over, drop. Feel the expansion. Reach into the spaciousness of your heart, the spaciousness of your spine. Feel where you're touching the floor and give yourself over to that. Find your breath. What feels good in your body right now? Where is a place that you're landing in sensation that you can rest in, that you can ground yourself in? All right, and then let's walk our feet forward, come into Uttanasana. Fold, bend your knees, relax your head a bit. Feel the breath. Feel free to wag your tail around. All right, inhale for a halfway lift. Hold the tops of your thighs, extend the spine, feel the lift of the sit bones, the spreading of the feet. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Open your breath up. Take a big open heart. Bring yourself into that vastness. Open your chest. And then exhale and round in. Reach your arms up, grab onto the right wrist with the left hand and find some extension. Just open up into that side body. Inner spiral your thighs a little bit. Feel the grounding of your feet, the softness in your knee joints. And then come back up and change sides. As you lift through your wrist, try not to pull at your shoulder joint. Reach from the bottom ribs up to the wrist. Reach from the bottom ribs down to the heel. Relax your neck. And come back up. Cactus, open your arms, big open chest again, and then release your arms down. Have a few shoulder shrugs, just moving your shoulders around a little bit, going in one direction, and then moving in the other direction. All right, and then shake out your hands. All right, and let's place our palms straight out to the two sides. Drop your shoulders down. Flex your hands as much as you can so that your fingertips are pointing up toward the sky. The eyes of the elbows are turning up toward the sky. The shoulder blades are dropping down. Now lift your left ear and then lift your right ear. Just going back and forth, getting a little zing through your arms, opening up those nerves, flossing the nerves a little bit in your upper body. If you're typing a lot, if you're on your computer a lot, this is a great little thing to do periodically. And then relax. Shake out the hands again, especially if they got a little numb. Okay, big open circle. Swing your arms around. Interlace your hands behind you. Open up your chest and bend your knees and come forward. Relax the base of the skull. Feel the shoulder blades move toward each other just a bit. Find the breath here. And then release the arms down to the ground. Step your left foot back. Your right foot's coming forward. Find your lunge. Extending through the spine, opening up the hip flexors of the back leg. Chest is forward. Let's start moving. Square hips, bow in. Is your being in your body creating a healing balm for you? Do you feel that the movement, the stillness, the presence is giving you some groundedness? When we're trying to be expansive, when we're trying to reach into the connection of each other and all things, being grounded is a really great way to start that connection. Start with your feeling of connection to the earth, the connection to your breath, the connection to your body. All right, let's go ahead and place your back knee down. Inhale, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Try not to compress the low back, so we're really stable. Front heel and back knee moving toward each other. Open up through your heart. Lean back a little bit if it feels stable and good for you to do so. Arms can go anywhere you want them to be. They do not have to be up in the air. And then release and relax. Take your hands to the inside edge of your foot. You can have your hands on blocks or you can have your hands on the floor. Your back knee can stay on the ground or you can curl your toes under it and bring your back knee off the floor. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, the collarbones broaden. Allow that right sit bone to settle toward the floor as your right thigh lifts. Open up your sit bones, broaden across your whole pelvis. Feel your breath as you broaden across your rib cage. Is there softness somewhere? Is there yielding? Okay, well, then let's go ahead and step back to dog pose. Reach that leg back, extend through your spine. Finding your breath, let's bring your other foot forward. Have your blocks, so left foot is now forward, right foot is back. Hands on blocks, just gives you a little extra space. If you don't have blocks, it's totally fine. Square hips. When my hands are on blocks, it's much easier for me to straighten my front leg a bit more. It gives me a little more space in my spine. So you do you, any height of the blocks as you bend and straighten your front knee. Breathe as you move. Feel your groundedness. Root into the feet. Tuck your chin toward your chest when your hips are square. When your leg is straight, your hips are always square. Finding your breath. Let's do that one more time. Squaring the hips, straightening the front leg, tucking the chin, and then going ahead and come into a lunge and place your back knee onto the ground. Feel the openness through the hip flexor of the back leg. Feel the compression in your front knee. Rise up when you're ready. Remember, your hands do not have to go in the air. They can go anywhere that's supportive for the body. There's so many choices of what to do with your arms. Stabilize in your lower body, yield into the earth, and then hug back from your foot and your knee moving toward each other. Find your muscles of your inner thighs helping you, or your glutes helping. Maybe push your front heel down a little bit. Find your breath. So your legs are working. You're not just falling and collapsing into the earth, but reaching into the earth for that rebound. Open the breath. How is your spine? Do you feel compressed anywhere? Is there space to be had? And release the hands down. Come onto the inside edge of your foot. You can have your hands on the floor or blocks. You can have your back knee down on the ground or up. Whatever you're doing, allow the left sit bone to soften toward the floor. Widen the sit bones apart from each other. Hug your knee a little bit toward your arm. Even if your knee is on the ground on the back, lift the femur bone a bit up toward the sky. Feel the length of the spine. Notice if you hunker your heart in. See if you can broaden your chest and the back body simultaneously. Get broad, get bigger. Okay, now this time we're going to step back to a plank. So hold steady. Find that internal support. Feel the midline and hug toward it. Let your breath stay present. Try not to hold or grip the breath. Where is tension that does not need to be? Check in with the base of your skull. Check in everywhere. All right, and then we're going to put our feet down and come down to the floor. Gentle cobra. Don't go very high. Just test the waters of what it feels like to arch your back a little bit and then come back down. Breathe as you go. So inhale, neck is long, shoulders are down, legs are strong. Exhale and come back down. Okay, one more time, just getting used to opening the spine in this way. And then release toward the floor. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Have a little movement, so maybe swaying from side to side, maybe doing some circles through your pelvis, moving your head around. Try to not have a prescription, but just let the body move in the way that's going to make your spine feel good. Spread open the hands and lengthen through your spine here. So sometimes we can even find those attachments and inversions in our yoga practice. So notice if practicing at home alone has started shifting this ego attachment to your practice. Is it different than when you are next to somebody on a mat that you're comparing yourself to in whatever subtle ways? Is it helpful to be on your own in any way? Is there a little gift within the private practice that we're all cultivating? So stretch open. Feel yourself come deep within. Close the eyes if it feels good. Relax. Inhale, lift your right leg up in the air. Stack open the hips. So stretch through the inner rim of that hip, the side waist a little bit. Square the hips now and stretch that leg back up in the air. Exhale, bring your knee to the center of your chest and tuck it in on your exhale. Inhale, bring it back. Three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your foot forward to a lunge. So remember, if you have trouble swinging your leg forward, you can always make a change. You can always come down onto your knees, come up onto your shins, and take your foot forward. There's lots of ways for you to figure out how to transition that's a little smoother or safer if you have some challenges. Okay, so finding the lunge, let's rise up now, crescent lunge, reaching the arms to the sky, feeling the openness again. Maybe the arms don't go to the sky, maybe they go somewhere else. What's giving you a sense of broadness, openness, vastness in your body, at the same time as feeling grounded and stable? Finding the breath, we're gonna twist to the right, wake up the obliques a little bit, drop the shoulders down, find the midline with the inner thighs. Feel the crown grow, feel the breath grow. All right, inhale, reach the arms. Exhale and place the hands down. Walk your back foot forward, fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down again. Step your other foot back. So now our left foot is forward. Don't worry, I won't forget about the three-legged dog. Find your way up. Rise up to crescent lunge on this side. Extend through your body, however your arms want to be in this pose. What's giving you ease of breath? So, of course, pay attention to your joints. So if your shoulders can't handle an overhead pose, that's fine. You can even have one arm up. If you have one shoulder, that's problematic. Okay, so find what's giving you joy in your body, sense of capacity for breath, stability, root into the feet, find the midline, soften the back knee, try not to push it back, press your front heel into the earth to feel the rest of your leg kick in a bit. Let's twist, coming left, drop the shoulders, only go where your body goes. So maybe your hands stand on your hips, maybe your hands are at your heart, maybe your arms are out to the side. Where are you twisting from? Are you twisting from the exhales? Relax the shoulders. And then let's go ahead and lift the arms back up. Place the hands down onto the ground. Step back, three-legged dog. Reach that leg high in the air. Stack your hip over the other hip. Stretch and open through that space. And then square the hips again. Reach that leg back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring it on back. Exhale, bring it forward. Place it down onto the ground. Bend your knees a fair amount. Find the breath. We're going to bring our opposite leg forward. So right foot comes forward now. Plant the back heel down. Rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Okay, but bring your arms back. So we're going to stay low. Look at me if you can see how low I am to the ground. I'm not coming up just yet. So torso lengthening. Reach the crown and reach it all the way into your back heel. Find oppositional directions, connecting. And then lift your arms if you want. You don't have to. The arms can be down. Find the breath. And then we're going to turn out of Virabhadrasana 1 and open up to Virabhadrasana 2. Find your breathing. So remember, arms can do whatever you want your arms to do. Are you pushing this hip forward? Is there a way for you to have the femur bone drawing back, a little inner spiral? Feel free to turn the pelvis a bit if you need it. How's your knee feeling? Do you need to back away or go deeper? Find your ground. Find your vastness. This is a big open pose. Is there any place that you feel a little trapped in the body? Can you relax and bring your breath? Are you attaching to anything? Are you avoiding anything inside of you? You know, maybe you avoid looking at a little niggle spot that's hurting you, and you're like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Okay, reach the arm up, open through your chest, find that side stretch. And then straighten your leg. Find the breath. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open your chest here. Just feel some broadness across your collarbones. We're not coming into humble warrior. We're just having a moment to stretch open our chest. Okay, and then bend your knee. Find warrior two legs. Drop the shoulders. Open the chest. And then unwind your arms. Place your elbow on your knee. Stretch open. For a moment, keep your arm down at your side. And just lengthen your crown to your back foot. Allow your knee to be soft in there. It's not locked out. Feel your breath. And then when you're ready, choose where you want your arm to be. Open yourself up. Press your feet into the floor. Feel the work in your legs, the deep stabilizing grounding forces of all your strong leg muscles. Bring your breath into your body. All right, and then let's go ahead and come back up. Okay, turn back to the front of your mat and come back to dog pose. Spine gets longer. Notice the difference between your two sides. How, the poses are not symmetrical. Feel the impact. Come forward into a plank. Find your breath. All your air out. Is it feeling good to be in your body? Put your knees down onto the ground and lower yourself to the floor. Find your breath. Let's roll our shoulders a few times. This time, we're going to come up with no hands. So feel the work in your core, in the muscles along your spine. Keep the back of your neck long. Stabilize your pelvis. And then exhale and release. Come back up onto all fours. Feel a sense of swirls or sways or movement of any kind that's going to help you feel good. Let the goal to be, present and without, I'm not going to say without discomfort, because we all have discomfort in our mind and body, but it's what you do with that discomfort. So let's go ahead and find our way back to dog pose. Find your breath. Bring your left foot forward. Plant your back heel down now. Reach the arms back. Virabhadrasana 1 with your torso low. Lift the heads of the arm bones a little higher than your spine. The collarbones broaden. Try not to push the back body into the front body. Expand the breath into the back bottom ribs. Reach the crown and tail in opposition and connection. When you're ready, find your way up. So up with your arms can mean all sorts of things. So go where your body's happy. Root into the back heel. Stabilize, hugging to the midline. Feel your feet ground. Open yourself up. Okay, we're going to turn to Virabhadrasana 2 on this side. What do you love about this posture? Is there some sense of groundedness, stability, spaciousness that you can find? Relax the shoulders down. Maybe gaze out over your fingers. Maybe your eyes are closed. Maybe your head's pointing straight. How are your legs? Is your back knee unlocked? Try not to press the knee backwards. Feel the roots of your feet instead. Finding the breath. Let's find our way into a reverse warrior. Open that arm up. Stabilize through the legs. Enjoy the feeling. Open yourself up and stable at the same time. Come back. Interlace your fingers the weird way. Just open your chest. You can straighten your leg for a moment if your body needs a break. Finding the breath here. Spreading open the collarbones. The crown lifts. And then when you're ready, unwind the arms, elbow on your knee. Stretch your arm along your side for a moment. Open up your chest, lengthen both sides of your rib cage. That underbelly shoulder is dropping down away from the ear. Stretch the arm wherever you want it to be. It does not have to be over your head. It very much can be over your head. How's your grounding? How's your yielding? Feel the length from crown to back heel. Expand your breath and let your breath go out. Try not to hold that last little bits of breath. Let all your exhale go. All right, let's go ahead and come on back up, back to the front of your mat, dog pose. If dog pose is not such a great pose for you, you can always take half dog at a wall. You can always take Uttanasana instead. There's lots of choices to support yourself if your shoulders are not happy doing dog poses. And planks. Come forward to a plank now. Find that sense of deep stability. Hug in. Breathe well. All right, let's go ahead and find our way down to the ground. Okay, let's flip over onto our back just for a moment. We're going to find bridge pose. It's a very unifying posture after standing poses. Heels are close in. Find your breath. Inhale, lift up. Rock onto the tops of your shoulders. Your arms do not have to interlace underneath you. They can. You can also just press your arms into the floor, palms facing up. Make sure the back of your neck is not compressing into the ground. Have a little gap under there. Back of the head can move into the earth. Open the chest. Lift the heart toward the chin. Breathe big belly breaths. Feel the roots of your feet, all four corners of each foot. Your legs like to do a lot of work. They just do. Those muscles are built for it. So find all your leg muscles. And then let's go ahead and find our way down. Relax for just a moment. Melt your body. You can straighten your legs or keep them bent. Feel that full body yielding. Bring your arms out. Everybody bring your legs out too. Just starfish yourself open. Enjoy your expansiveness. So, is it helping you to be in your body? Can you detach from my way is the right way? Whether it's, how you have your hips turned in a pose, or what your political views are, or what your, how to load the dishwasher correctly. It doesn't matter what you are attached to. See if you can make room. Enjoy other perspectives. Invite them in. Even if you don't agree with them, see if there's nuggets of truth to be found. Where are your blinders? Where do your attachments and your aversions create blinders to your experience of connection? Your experience of truth. All right, let's go ahead and bend your knees. Bring them toward your chest. Rock just a little bit. Don't hug in too tightly. Just a little rocking. And roll over onto your side. It's always a tease to get back on the ground and then have to get back up. So sorry about that. But come on to all fours. Feel little swivels or sways or swishes in your body. And let's go ahead and bring our right foot forward. We're going to keep our back knee onto the ground. There's always a plan B. This is a big pose. We're going to do a twist. So grab a strap if you need it. And you can always come up. So you can always do a quad stretch like this. Instead, just standing, holding your foot, or holding a strap around your foot if you can't do this pose. Open your chest. The knee can be padded with a blanket as well. Grab onto your foot. If you can't reach your foot, wrap a strap around your foot. So we're working with opposition. So our right foot forward, left knee back. And we're going to grab on with our right hand to our left foot in the air. Breathe. Shoulders are away from the ears. Hug in toward the midline. The breath is full and deep. And then relax. Melt that. Come to the inside edge of your foot like we did earlier. Lengthen your spine. And then let's go ahead and come back. Maybe child's pose, maybe dog pose, maybe just on all fours. And then switching to the other side. The left foot is forward. The right knee is back down onto the ground. We're going to reach back and grab onto the foot or a strap, or maybe you're standing up and holding on to something, or not holding on to something and grabbing onto your leg. If you're standing, try not to let your knee come out to the side. Keep the knee in line with the hip and open across your chest. Kick your foot into your hand a bit so you have a little flex stretch going on in your quads and in your hip flexors. Breathe deeply. You can always have a blanket underneath your knee. All right, and then we're going to exhale and release that hand on the inside edge of your left foot. Your back knee can be on the ground. Your back knee can be up off the ground. What's working for you? Collarbones are broad. And then relax. Come back onto all fours again. Finding the breath. Stretch back to child's pose. We're going to inhale and come up onto our shins. Open our chest. Maybe a little back bend if it feels nice. Exhale and come back. Let's repeat that one more time. Up onto the shins. Big open space. Bring everything into you. Exhale and fold again. Relax your head. Rest here for a moment. And then as you're ready, come into plank pose. Bring your hands forward. Finding the breath. Stabilize through your center body. Feel your core. And let's come down. Put your knees onto the ground and come to the floor. We're going to do a bigger back bend now. So reach back and grab your feet. If Dhanurasana is not in your pose, if it's not in your category of what you can do, you get to make a different choice and have a different back bend of your choice. Hook your feet with your hands or use a strap. Try not to let your knees splay out. Keep the back of the neck long. Take a deep breath in and kick your feet. Open your chest. Feel free to rock a little bit. This is big push-ups for your diaphragm. Opening the breath. Back of the neck is long. Stabilize with your core. Tailbone moving toward the knees hug in toward an imaginary block between your thighs. All right, and then melt and rest. Turn your head one direction or the other. Windshield wiper your knees. And turn your head the other way. Keep swishing. Keep breathing. Breathe into the back body. All right, come up onto all fours. One more time. Have some movement. Maybe some circles through the pelvis. Maybe you're swishing like a fish. Just see what feels nice. Okay. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So if you want to come back to dog pose, you can, and lift the right leg up, or you can just find your right. Now, if pigeon pose is not available to you, you can flip over onto your back and put your right foot on your left knee and come into reverse pigeon pose. So you decide. If you need support, there's always support available. There's blankets I don't know if you have support available, but hopefully you've got some blankets that you can put some support underneath your right sit bone if you need to, maybe in front of your left thigh. So just see what kind of support you need. I like having a block to put my head on in this pose. It helps me rest, but whatever you have available, so find a way to support yourself that brings ease into the pose where you can have a deep stretch, but you're not fighting against your stretching. Can you let go of the banks of the river and flow in the center of the stream? What are you clinging to? See if clinging finds its way into your breath. Use your breath as a tool, a discipline to help you learn the art of not avoiding, not clinging. These are simple, there's simple things you can practice. You can turn this into a little game with yourself. What throughout your day, what are you clinging to that you can let go of? Little things, little things. What are you avoiding that you can face? Start with the little things. The more we ground ourselves, the more we allow for that spaciousness, we have capacity. So working to find our connection doesn't just happen because we want it to. We have to be disciplined. We have to work toward these things. Let's go ahead and come out of the pose and let's find the second side. So you can come back to dog pose if you prefer. You can just switch sides like I'm doing. Whatever's working, maybe reverse pigeon pose on one side, not on the other. So just find what's right for your body. Finding the breath, bring yourself down if it's comfortable to do so. Keep the spine long. If you're on your back, melt. Allow your shoulders to relax. Soften your skull. Let the base of your skull be as melty as possible. How can you fill your breath and empty your breath? Can you stay in the sensation that you're feeling and not run away from it? If your body doesn't go as deep as it did yesterday, can you detach from your desire for the body to be a certain way? Sit bones, if you're in pigeon pose, sit bones are wide, hips are square. Allow that back leg to turn toward the floor so you're balanced across the pelvis. Spine is growing. All right, let's go ahead and find our way out of there, however you like to come out. Then we're going to find our way onto the floor. Stretch your limbs, spread out like a starfish again. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, bring your knees into your chest. And let's take a simple twist. Put your feet on the ground, lift your hips up, scooch them to the right a couple of inches. Bring your knees toward your chest and drop them left. If your knees don't touch the floor, you can put a block underneath your knee or shin. Turn your head if it's comfortable. Take a deep breath. All right, let's go ahead and lift the knees. Scooch your hips the other way. Bring your knees up and drop them to the side. Open your chest up. All right, let's go ahead and bring your knees back up and come into either just knees to the chest, happy baby pose. Maybe you want to just bring your legs up. So just something that's a forward fold. Feel free to rock around a little bit within it. Feel free to go as deep as your body says go.
You can even do some rocking plow if that feels nice to your body. Make sure you're breathing. All right, and then as you're ready, let's come to rest in Shavasana. Decide how you want to be. Do you want limbs wide, limbs close, limbs supported, limbs flat? As you come to melt on the floor, allow yourself to do exactly that, melt on the floor. Learn how to just be present with the sensations of your body and breath. And see if there's some pleasure in it. Melt the eyes. Melt the jaw. Relax what you can. Belly is soft, allowing breath. Let's begin deepening our breathing again. Can you feel the great vastness even in your own body? Can you melt just a bit more? I'm going to read the words of Lao Tzu one more time.
The ego says that the world is vast and that the particles which form it are tiny. When tiny particles join, the ego says the vast world appears. When the vast world disperses, it says tiny particles reappear. The ego is entranced by all these names and ideas, but the subtle truth is that the world and particle are the same, neither one vast, neither one tiny. Everything is equal to every other thing. Names and concepts only block your perception of this great oneness. Therefore, it is wise to ignore them. Those who live inside their egos are continually bewildered. They struggle frantically to know whether things are large or small, whether or not there is a purpose to joining or dispersing, whether the universe is blind and mechanical or the divine creation of a conscious being. In reality, there are no grounds for having beliefs or making comments about such things. Look beyond them instead, and you will discern the deep, silent, complete truth of the Tao. Embrace it, and your bewilderment vanishes. All right, let's breathe deeply. And if there's any of those words that ring true, breathe in truth. Breathe in presence. Breathe in this moment. Breathe in the way you feel connected. Let's find our way into movement and onto your side as you are ready. Eventually finding your way to a comfortable seat. You can place your palms at your heart. Once again, feel it in your body. What is connection to others, to the earth? What does it feel like in your body, in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, in your breath? What does it feel like? Can you feel the flow? Offer your practice outward. Share your energy with someone who is struggling that you know. And just offer this connection, your love. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.